Go ahead.
Hey, welcome NevilleSpeaks.com tribe. Hey, we're doing our second podcast. I'm really excited. Hey, I have the great honor today of introducing a friend and more importantly, a fraternity brother, Juneous Pettijohn. So June and I go back several years, probably at least 15 years. We're a member, obviously, of the best fraternity in the land, Alpha Phi Alpha. And I know many of Alphas are part of this podcast nation for NevilleSpeaks.com. Juneous is also a member of the NSADC chapter, and we have a mastermind group, and we meet frequently. He is the original creator and also founder of the Aquaflow Wellbeing. And one of the key things that he has for his business model are great things in life are achieved with passion. And just going through Junior's bio, I was just intrigued. I didn't know that he had at one time a desire to be a heart surgeon. But what he's done, he's not a heart surgeon currently, but he works on the affairs of the heart to make you more wellness across the board. He has redirected his passion for helping others towards preventive health. And preventive health is the way to be because you want to do the things before you get sick, and that can help to stage your longevity going forward. He recognized that the integral part of good health helps you to live an extraordinary life and strive to have a complete understanding and impact for others. Juneous has done a great thing. He does meditation, he does yoga. He'll talk about some of this during our podcast here. He's also a wellness being coach. I am deeply honored and humbled to have Juneous today give us some insights about meditation. And, Juneous, and reading your bio, before we get started, one of the things I saw is, and maybe you can explain to this, your Aquaflow integration alchemist. So can you elaborate on what that is? I was trying to wrap my brain on what that really is, and so I can get smarter.
It's Astroflow integrated alchemist. Whereas during my work, I will incorporate astrology, tarot, Kundalini yoga into when I'm working with people one-on-one or into groups. In addition to teaching about breathing and meditation.
Oh, great! So how do you kind of get into this arena, just overall, just relating to preventive health? This what was your drive? I know before you said that you early in life you wanted to be a heart doctor. So what kind of drove your interest in this arena?
This has been a journey for me. Honestly, it's been a journey for me. Like I said, I wanted to be a heart surgeon. I always had the thing for helping people. That let me involve in various organizations. But for down this path, this journey started in 2005 when I started journaling, write my thoughts on paper. I was going through a period where I was just kind of having some challenges. So and somehow I just took up the idea to start writing my thoughts on paper, and I noticed a shift in my mood. Where I got able to kind of learn handle stress better. I also learned to kind of get in touch with my story, and the trauma that I dealt with as a child. And through that, it led to having my own home yoga practice. And I did with the aid of a book called Yoga for Everybody by Paul Harvey, which led me to take my first yoga teacher training program. And I became a yoga teacher in 2008, July 31st to be exact. And from there, it kind of led me to studying meditation. I did that through Spiritual Essence Yoga Studio. And from there, I started taking other trainings, whether through Aurora Wellness, the Open Heart Project, Spiritual Essence Yoga. I'm also trained and as an IRS yoga nidra teacher also.
Oh, great! That's a pretty good journey. Hey, first of all, as we get started here, I like to give you a personal shout out and thank you for you introducing me to meditation. A couple of years ago, you mentioned to me doing one of our masterminds, and I thought about it, then I leaned into it, and now I've probably done close to 1,500 meditation sessions from various times, from as little as 1 minute to 15 minutes, and it's really helped me out doing hard times with both parents being sick and going through medical issues. So you may be missing it before. What really started you into this meditation and your mindfulness kind of thought process for you?
Like I said, started when I became a yoga teacher. I came and started when I went through spiritual essence yoga. That's where I was like my first major yoga studio I was a part of, and the teacher there was big into meditation. I didn't at that time I didn't hear about it. I may heard of it, yeah, but when she got into it, and I started learning more about it, and I took one of her original meditation teacher training programs, and from there I went through other training through or like a rural wellness, open heart project, spiritual essence yoga, and also I'm a RS yoga nidra.
Okay, great. Uh, so, with you allude to mindfulness in plain terms. What is it really about, and how can we fit into the daily grind that we all are going through these days?
One thing about mindfulness is a term that everybody uses every time. Oh, it's the big, like the big buzzword of the moment. Sometimes I think it gets overly used at times. But the mindfulness means to pay attentionally, it's an attention to pay attention to your present moment experience with mindful attitudes such as acceptance, curiosity, self-compassion, openness. So now, what makes this practice special? You could do it in as little as 5 minutes a day, and it doesn't always involve with sitting down or having your eyes closed.
Hmm.
So you can adapt to where it works for you.
Okay, great. Um, Earlier I mentioned I'm close to 1,500 sessions into the meditation. Thank you, Juneous, for kind of getting me down that path. For those who are maybe not into 1,500, or maybe you may be into thousands of sessions relating to meditation, for the beginners out there, what sort of benefits should they look forward to if they start a meditation practice?
I always say is start with your why. Why do you want to practice mindfulness meditation? Mindfulness can help people in three ways: through improving physical health, increasing emotional well-being, and enhancing relationships. Let me break that down a little bit further. When I'm talking about improving physical health, I mean improving brain function and immune function, reducing the perception of physical pain, encouraging better eating habits, improving digestion. Also helps with chronic diseases. Also helps with sleeping. Also increasing emotional well-being. It lowers stress. It helps with self-compassion. Improves systems and symptoms of anxiety and depression. Helps with students improving their attention and help with test anxiety. Also increase connections with others and reducing feelings of loneliness and isolation. Also helps with enhancing relationships, increasing relationship satisfaction, closeness, and acceptance of one's partners, and lowering levels of emotional stress during conflict, and enhances communication to romantic relationships. So again, no matter what you choose, helps with improving physical health, increasing emotional well-being, and enhancing relationships.
Well, that's a lot of things, I guess, especially for the parents out there and kids. We're maybe halfway through the school year. Maybe even if they kind of lean into it and do some meditation prior to tests, maybe it can lower the test anxiety. Some of the kids are out there maybe taking SAT, ACT, SAT, just doing college prep. Maybe a couple of minutes of meditation prior to the exam may be the game changer. And actually, it made me laugh a little bit when you talked about sleep. When I started my meditation practice, the first person that I was listening to was Puff Daddy, and I didn't know he had a meditation tape. And I would listen to it for 20 minutes, and I was out like a light. So it definitely can help you with sleep. Hey, Julius, as we break down how meditation helps us with stress, I mean, you mentioned that a little bit. So, how do we get out of our heads? When we go into a meditation practice, because many people in the NevilleSpeaks.com tribe and outside of the NevilleSpeaks.com tribe are heavy hitters. They're going 100 miles per hour, and it may be hard for them to slow down. So, what is really going in our heads when we do slow down and lean into the meditation moment?
The one thing about meditation, people think that when you're practicing meditation, that you everything you're going to like all of a sudden your brain is going to stop working. They think you're just going to blank out. Your brain is doing its job, and that's to think. When you're sitting, like I mean, I've been doing this for years. I mean, I could be sitting in 1 minute, I'm thinking about something else, or I'm thinking about the next shiny object. What you have to do is meditation teaches you how to go back and focus on one thing, and then one thing, and we can talk about that later. And that's to tune to your breath.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Because one of the disclaimers is I kind of marked it prior to this podcast. People on meditation like, I can't do it. I got things going on. I have many things. I can't get my brain to slow down for more than 30 seconds. But really, maybe it is slowing down, and you don't even know it. So that was a good point. So for me, I noticed that I had a big focus or a big surge into my overall focus because of meditation. It slows my brain down. So maybe if I want to react quickly, maybe the meditation kind of gets me in a slower mode. So that, which is really good. So how does it really help us zone in and concentrate better? How does meditation have us zone in and concentrate better?
Um, Being able to pay attention to one task at a time is important. Mindfulness meditation trains your brain to be better at concentrating because each time you notice that your mind wanders off on whatever you're focusing on, it you intentionally are bringing attention back to the object of your attention. So one, and there's a lot of tips that you could do. We could discuss later on how to increase concentration. But let me just talk about this. Let's talk about like some tips for like a peaceful mind. A peaceful mind may be defined as a state of calmness or tranquility that is free from worry, room to thoughts or other types of busy, frantic thoughts. Oftentimes, we spend too much time thinking about what's to come in the future, what's happened in the past, or even what's going on right now. These are times when we crave a peaceful mind. So here's some tips for a peaceful mind. The first one is visualization. It's a relatively simple way to start calming the mind by using visualization. So imagine yourself at your favorite place and how that feel for you. Start doing things that you enjoy. Sometimes we get stuck in a cloudy mind when our lives are dull, stagnant, and uninspiring. So do things that you enjoy. Be don't be afraid to step outside the box. Um, if you're a swimmer, go for a swim or go for a walk. Get outside. Get outside, get some and catch some air. For me, I'm a homebody, so it's like it takes extra effort for me just to remind myself to get outside of the house and catch some air. And also like a lot of times when I do go outside, I love going to here in DC, go to Eastern Market, or I love going to the market over by RFK Stadium on the weekends. And it's wait just to see people doing something that they love and seeing a lot of people having fun doing things they enjoy and just the excitement, just being around people at times. Listen to music. Listen to your favorite music. Andre 3000 released a instrumental CD, which is really good. I can say I would practice yoga. You can do mantras, like which is have your favorite sayings. Like right here, this could be a mantra. Life is right now. That's focus on being present. Mantra could be like peace, love, whatever works for you. And deep breathing, focusing in your breath. And we could talk about more about that later. But let me go back one thing about let me take a step back and talk about one thing that how something they assume with with mindfulness that everything's gonna be okay. That it's gonna be but they think mindfulness is escape from the real world. I'm gonna say this: mindfulness teaches us to turn towards our emotions. What this means is that you are going to listen to the thoughts and feelings you're experiencing and simply acknowledging them. And so now you say, I'm stressed, I'm embarrassed, upset. Don't be ashamed or upset that emotion exists, but simply recognize that you are currently in that state. Society tells us that we need to suck it up or we need to not have be emotional. Or like for men, That men always have to be
Mm-hmm.
strong and don't be emotional, which to me that causes more problems. Mindfulness teaches us to tap into those emotions, saying it's okay to have those emotions. It's okay to be upset about something. I mean, I know you dealing with challenges with your mother and going through the healthcare system. And it brings up a lot of emotions.
It does. It does. It does.
But one thing about mindfulness, we'll talk more about it. It teaches, and I'm gonna say it again. It doesn't. It teaches us how to respond to the situation as opposed to react. We're so quick that we might want to go off with somebody, we might want to drag them, but mindfulness teaches us to respond to it. So instead of cussing them out, you may get your point across in a more respectful way, whereas you're respecting them, and most importantly, you're respecting yourself. It doesn't change how you feel. You're allowed to have your emotions, you're allowed to have your experiences, but yeah, you can't help how they're gonna react to it. But it teaches you how to respond in a way that's respectful, but still get your point across.
Hey, Julius, I mean, this is perfect timing because I had to use all my mindfulness and also my meditation because just prior to our podcast, you're right, I was working through some things with my mom's health care and her future care. And man, normally if I had the same type of situation happen to me prior to a work assignment or this assignment, I would just be totally off the rails. But mindfulness kind of taught me kind of to lean into it, work through it, and then figure out what you can do before the assignment, what you can do after assignment. So, I mean, that is a outstanding thing. I've lived that actually today. So that is outstanding. And if you get no more than that from this podcast, is really it could just teach you how to respond to things. I'm not gonna curse anyone out, but maybe instead of not cursing them out, use heated words. I think mindfulness have you lean into that. So
It prevents a lot of what is though, it prevents a lot of problems in the future because sometimes it's
mm-hmm.
to go off on the rails and just kind of let them have it or cuss them out. But at the end of the day, you're really kind of when you're really more like you're really disrespecting them, and you're really and as a disrespecting yourself, where you had to go back and try and clean it up. Your goal is you're trying to get something to somebody, and they're not doing their job. So instead of them going off on the rails, you're letting them look. You're being firm. You're being very direct, and you respond to what needs to be done. You're letting them know in a way that's you're not going to demean them or embarrass your mother or anybody or embarrass yourself, but you get your point across. So sometimes with mindfulness, sometimes you may need to take a step back and just sit for a minute and check in with your breath.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, what's going on? How am I feeling? It doesn't change how you feel, but you just take a step back for a minute, like, okay, you know what? Sometimes you may have to tell this person, Lord, let me step away for a moment and get back with you real quick. And you just kind of check in with yourself and come back and say what you need to say.
Well, that's great. I used it today, and probably many people out there on NevilleSpeaks.com tribe can use it. Maybe for a big presentation, you have something that you have to do. Maybe just step back for a moment and just kind of take a deep breath, and then you can pull through and go forward. So I think that is an outstanding, great takeaway tip for today. Hey, I just wanted to kind of think there's a lot of myths about meditation. What's one you would like to put it straight, for our listeners? Maybe you touched bases on this before. I mean, just there's a lot of myths about meditation. It's gonna do whatever, but some of it is true. Maybe some of it's fake. What are some big myths out there about meditation overall?
One is against my religion. You're not going to the church of meditation. You're not going to you're not going to. It's not a religion. It's not going to tell you that you're going to go to heaven and hell. There are people that have too much on my mind. That's the purpose of our brain is to think. We're always going to have a lot on our mind. What it is, meditation teaches you to focus on one thing. That could be, I said, your breath. You can also have an object like a candle where you can focus on patience to the candle. That's a good meditation technique. I don't have enough time to. All you don't like I said, you need 5 minutes. You may just need 1 minute. So you don't need a lot of time just to sit and practice meditation. It says I don't do yoga and can't sit in a double cross-legged position. I mean, right now I'm sitting in a chair. You can practice meditation walking, have a walking mindfulness practice. You could do meditation laying on your back. So there's many ways to practice mindfulness meditation. And I heard it's escape from reality. The world is still happening.
Mhm.
Things are still going on into the world. Just because you're sitting, you're not gonna be like far removed from what's going on in the world. What it does, meditation encourages you to face what's going on in the world.
Okay, great. I mean, you alluded to this a little bit long a second ago, doing that question. There's a follow-up question relating to that, your comment. So, how long does it usually take for you to feel the difference on meditation? I mean, you mentioned you may do a couple of minutes. I mean, is it maybe the third meditation practice you start seeing a difference, or the second, or it may vary depending on person? How long does it take for you to really see the difference, and what's your experience on this?
I think to me, varies person to person. You may practice and be like, you may feel the immediate benefits of it, like right away, or you may practice, or may take a while. You'll be amazed when you, let's say you've been practicing for a while and you get yourself in a situation that's not ideal to you, and you find yourself without even thinking about that, you incorporate those techniques that you've learned. So it could be what like when you're in when you kind of find yourself in a situation where you may employ those techniques that you learn during your meditation practice. So it can happen right within right after you practice. It may be a few months later. Everyone's different. But one thing about sitting, you may sit for 10 minutes a day, but we still have those other hours throughout the day
Hmm.
that we still contend with. So what is though is what you're learning, you're putting into practice. Yeah. And when you incorporate what you learn, that's when you start to really see the benefits of it. And a lot of times you may know when people are watching you and say, "Hey, you're so relaxed. What is it you're doing?"
Oh, cool. I mean, maybe people will see over time. Maybe before you're a little bit more prickly, kind of snap off on people. Maybe give them the business. Maybe over time, and it's based on individual. Then you're more of a chill mode, and still being firm as you mentioned before, but still getting your point across. So I do like that.
Yeah.
You alluded to this a little bit earlier. You know, I know there's meditation and many different flavors to it. Are there specific types that you recommend for different goals, like stress relief versus sharpening focus?
Um, there are various types of meditation practices out there. You have practice for body scanning meditation, where you do a scan of your body. You have contemplation meditation, mantra meditation, movement meditation, affirmation meditation, where you use affirmations saying like "I am powerful" and let that you just sit with that. There's focus meditation. There's loving kindness meditation. There's meditation music. Also, there's mindfulness walking. Like for example, I like to go to Arboretum and take a walk through that in DC, or you can go to your local park and just go for a while. It's all about works for you, and everyone's different. And that's why there's so many styles out there. You have to find that works for you and stick with it. Or so that's why it's Ty, it's okay for you to study different styles and techniques. My common practice is called shamatha, which is calm abiding meditation, which is an eye open practice and focus on the breath. That's the one I practice, and that's one I mostly teach to others. Other I'm
And
also
can you spell that? Or I mean,
shamatha, and shamatha
yes.
is shamatha, which means calm abiding meditation. And just basically
Oh,
is a breath practice with focus on eye opening practice. I like it personally because it doesn't have all those bells and whistles in it. It's straight to the point. It starts by relaxing the body, have a nice gentle focus, and you just sit. There's no thrills or frills what that goes along with it. You're just sitting. So when I do that in my practice, but when I'm teaching others, I always sleep with that.
hmm.
Now there are other styles I love. I love yoga nidra. Yoga nidra is a sleep practice. Basically, you're lying on your back and you basically go through guided meditation, which is excellent for you for those who don't get enough sleep. Although just want just to veg out for a while. You have me. You have what's called Kundalini meditation, which is Kundalini yoga. There's this one I love called Satanama, which is they use it through the Alzheimer's Foundation. So it's
Okay.
being researched that way. See, I could talk about different styles of meditation through another podcast.
Okay. Well, maybe we could do a follow up, and maybe we can elaborate on the different forms of meditation. Because maybe depending on where people are, maybe people have parents, or maybe they have a loved one that's going through some type of memory loss. You mentioned that meditation before, and then maybe other people have other things. So I think maybe good follow up with maybe a list, and then we can also list some additional resources for people to go through. And if I know at the end you're going to talk about some of your offerings, but if you have websites also you want to mention, that would be good too.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to follow up. So people are going 100 miles per hour. I got things to do. Got to drop the kids off. Got to go to work. Got to go do this. I got to go do that. So how are there tips on just finding the time? I got enough things going on already. How can I squeeze another 5 minutes into my day? I don't have time. Are there tips that you will recommend on people finding the time to do 5 minutes of meditation?
You know what? Let's have a conversation about this. We're in society now where everybody's on the go, always on the go. I have to admit though, regardless, one of the best moments was when we went through the pandemic, when everybody was forced to slow down, when everyone was forced to basically was the world was just at a standstill. To me, that's like one that was just so quiet, and people had to really just like it kind of freaked a lot of people out because it was so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Now in 2024, we have a lot going on, and people are just all over the place. People just are rushing. And a lot of times, some of the causes is societal norms and expectations. They think if you're not, if you're if you're busy, always busy, you're being productive. How dare you to have time for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Or people think lack of prioritization. They don't take their needs into consideration, or their procrastination. They wait till the last minute. I don't. Or they're impatient. They feel like they had to be doing something now. If they're not doing something, then they're not being a good person, which is causes a lot of problems. Now, these are some things to help them to prevent them from being in such a rush. It's prioritize. I like to do a to-do list and each day and figure out what things I need to work on. Now, you have to figure out if this is an emergency or this can wait.
Hmm. Hmm.
Manage time management, manage your time wisely. Like I said, I like to keep a to-do list. I also like to do a calendar just to figure out um what I need to work on. um, be open by your time restrictions. That means you have to communicate with people, say, look, I don't have time for this. Rethink your recurring tasks. Are you struggling with getting domestic chores done? Or things that you need to do? Are you struggling with getting them done? You might need to ask for help. Always expect unexpected, like emergencies, traffic jams, medical emergencies. Also, this is an important one. Don't multitask. I'm working on this. I tend to like try to do one more thing, try to do more than one thing at a time. I'm letting you know, multitask. Pick one thing and focus on it. So let's say, for example, you're working on a book. Just find time just to work on that book, only that book, and slow down. Slow down. Um, Slow down and slow down. The problem is, we always feel like we're always on the go. All of us feel like we need to always get our hustle on. Slow down. Take some time for yourself. You be a man. If I do this last one, no. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to. You don't have to explain yourself. You can just say no.
Hmm.
A lot of times we get ourselves in a situation because we want to try to please everybody and be all things to everybody. If you can't do it, you can't do it. No. Now, I know no could be very challenging and harsh at times. So you could just say, nah, I'm not available. I'm
Hmm.
unavailable. Or if you and remember if you just
Hmm.
don't if you just don't feel like it, I'm unavailable or no, and keep it moving. And last, like I said, be mindful. Sometimes it's hard to be patient when we want to reach our goals. By practicing mindfulness, we can help to understand what is happening around you and give you a deep appreciation of the process. So those are things that kind of can help us take a step back. Because one thing, like for example, well, I became a yoga teacher on July 31st of 2008. One thing I said to myself, and at that time, I spent the whole year involved with all of these activities, with whether through Toastmasters, out in the community, out with the fraternity. And I was being overwhelmed. At the time of going through my first yoga teacher training program,
Hmm.
I realized I maybe this yoga practice helped me to realize I don't need to be doing all of that. That was not bringing me joy. Actually, that was becoming such a headache. So what I
Hmm.
said on July 31st of 2008, once I graduated from this yoga teacher training program, all these other activities were going to cease to stop. Luckily, they stopped doing it. Naturally, they stopped. But I made a commitment since that day to do things that are important to me. And if it
Hmm.
no longer brings me joy, I just put it aside and keep it moving. And I have to remind myself each every time to learn to say no, not to be overwhelmed. I realize have brought a lot more joy in my life, a lot more happiness. I'm able to do things that I enjoy doing because I don't have to feel like I'm doing it for others. And I'm a strong believer that you have to do for yourself before you do for others. And one of the biggest things you do for yourself is make yourself your own priority. And the easiest way is to say no.
Oh, one of the major takeaways is just saying no, and no can be directly linked to self care, and
Right.
we're on the self care movement now overall, which is a good thing. But being able to say no, or more, I guess maybe politically correct, I'm not available. So that's a major takeaway. Just being able to say no. So you may have alluded this before, like any personal meditation stories or experiences that really stand out, and maybe things that will inspire our audience. You kind of alluded to that at the first part of the podcast here of how yoga and meditation will help you out. But can you tell maybe a personal story or that you or experience
Uh,
that?
one of my favorite one of my favorite experiences with when the fraternity had our Jennifer convention in Baltimore, where I got the chance to teach the first ladies meditation, and the fact that they came back each and every day just to sit and practice with me, and to see the joy in their face, knowing they learned a new technique about this practice of meditation. That was one of my favorite experiences
Hmm.
teaching them. Also teaching others, seeing how relaxed they are when you lead a meditation, or when I practice teaching meditation with my church, seeing how people are how relaxed and joyful they are teaching meditation when we're learning the practice of meditation. And what I learned is people want this. The fact is, so we got to bring it to them and meet them where they are.
Hmm.
That's the big thing. Meet them where they are. Once you're able to do that, you bring in lifelong learners. And one of the things I've also I do sound healing, which is when I'm using crystal bowls or and musical instruments to teach way to facilitate relaxations. And I led a sound healing session a few months ago, and seeing the relaxation on people's faces, the joy in their faces when they got to sit there, lay down, and me just play the music, the singing bowls and the various instruments to facilitate relaxation, just to see the joy in their faces, knowing they could take time for themselves and just be quiet. People struggle with being quiet, and seeing that just brings me joy, knowing that I'm on the right path.
Hey, on a personal note, I did take one of your sound meditations, and you saw joy in my face, but you might also saw some sleeping, because it was so peaceful that I was almost out, I thought I was sleeping, getting ready for work for the next day. It was very peaceful, and if you haven't done sound meditation, I will highly encourage you doing that. It was a very relaxing experience for me. Highly
A lot
recommend
of times,
that.
and one thing about nothing about meditation, people afraid that they might fall asleep. I fall asleep all the time in meditation. Your body's so relaxed, it's like it's telling you that maybe you need to get more sleep in, or you're just tired, which is okay. It's okay. Like, if you need to sleep, just sleep and keep it. And remember, one thing about the meditation practice, you can always start again next day. But if you fall asleep, that's okay. I do. Trust me, I do it all the time in meditation.
Oh, great. Yeah, I experienced that. I was very relaxed afterwards. So that was great. Hey, for those who are maybe just word of advice, maybe those that listen to the podcast, they're thinking about it. There's a lot of commercial products out there about meditation, but they're still on the fence. How would you kind of get them off the fence and actually lean into a meditation practice?
I would say just do it and start small. Just start small. Let me this you also had a question how to dive into. Here's some resources. The rapper Little John, he released a meditation CD, which I did it last night. It's really good. It's really good. Also there's the Insight Timer, and this which is an app that you can download on your phone. Also, there's another app called Liberate, which you can also download onto your phone. Which that's an app geared towards Black folks and people of color. Also, if you want to be part of our community, sometimes people don't know where to get started. Sometimes it's good to sit with people. Check out the Heart Refuge Mindfulness Community. You could go to heartrefugemindfulnesscommunity.com, this is geared towards Black folks and people of color, where you sit with people with two of the main hosts will lead you through guided meditation practice, and it's a time to after practice to reflect and kind of share what's on your heart. Another community I'm a part of is called the Open Heart Project. Is you go to openheartproject.com, which will allow you to. This is the now this now the Heart Refuge Mindfulness Community is free. The Open Heart Project, there is a monthly cost if you're going to be a part of the whole project. Both of them are worth it. The Open Heart is open to everybody. Also, it features my meditation teacher, Susan Piver, on that. So it's part of this to be and sit with people. Sometimes people don't want to do it alone, but it gets you being that to sit with like-minded people, and we're able to achieve a goal of this practice.
That's great. Thanks for breaking out some resources and apps. And you made me laugh there when you mentioned Lil Jon, because I have Spotify, and I was listening and I said, hey, play things by Lil Jon. So I'm used to the hype music. Yes, I do hype on occasion. And then all of a sudden, the second track into the Spotify thing was meditation. And like, what am I listening to? I was kind of surprised. I didn't know he had a meditation CD, and I was actually surprised. And one of the things, kind of pulling the string on what you were just saying, is he said he's a hype guy, but sometimes meditation is the way that he gets to being hype, because he can draw back and then he can lean forward. So when he's doing these shows and he's hype, Super Bowl, whatever, he really leans into his meditation and it gets him to the next level. So if Lil Jon can do it, yeah, we can do it also. So just wanted to put that little plug in for the Lil Jon CD there. Yeah. So
it was really, I can't get enough of it. It's really good, and I hope it inspires our new generation of people to really take up this practice of meditation. So I'm one of those people who love when somebody wants to offer something that's going to be beneficial, jump on it. And when I did it yesterday, I fell in love with it.
Oh, nice. If Lil Jon could do it, you can do it. You can turn it up too. So, hey, as we close the interview, I appreciate Juneous for just giving us a whole treasure trove of information about meditation, being mindful. So can you talk about like any books or coaching or retreats you have coming up, so the audience can lean into that, and take advantage of some of your offerings?
Just two things. If they go to my website, astroflow108.com, that is spelled ASTROFLOW 108.com. They can, if they sign up for my newsletter, which I'll be relaunching in the spring, they'll get a mindfulness one-on-one special report. Also, I will be launching What's Good Sam in the spring. And what that is, it's a just kind of reading the description. What's Good Sam, and Sam is the acronym for Shamatha Affirmation Meditation. And Shamatha means calm abiding. It's a transformative program especially tailored for men seeking to enhance their mental and emotional well-being. Through a technique blend of shamatha meditation and positive affirmation, this program offers a toolkit for navigating life challenges with resilience, clarity, and confidence. And as I close, let me give you a tool they could do. This is one of my favorite breathing techniques because everyone can do it. It's called box breathing. Think of a box with four sides, four corners. Okay. And basically, the way you do it is you just want to sit up tall. Okay. Then you just want to inhale through the nose to the count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You just want to hold it and pause to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then exhale out from the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to hold a pause at the bottom to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So inhale again to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just hold it, pause to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then exhale to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And pause at the bottom to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you do this for a few rounds, for a few minutes. Anytime you're feeling like you're overwhelmed, do a simple breathing. This is a simple breathing technique that you can do. That's going to help you to relax. I do this a lot when I'm feeling like overwhelmed or just feeling like some out of sorts. I just kind of sit down and just kind of first I just do some basic diaphragm, breathe through my diaphragm first. Just inhale to the belly, up towards the ribs and up towards the chest, and exhale from chest, ribs, and belly. There's some basic breathing until I go towards work my way up towards the box breathing. I always tell people your breath is your most powerful tool to relax your body and clear the mind. And once you incorporate that, you will notice a shift into your whole being.
Oh man, that was great. I mean, that was an outstanding way to end. I mean, you gave us you talked about your resources and talked about the box breathing. So if you get no more than the box breathing from this podcast, I think it's a game changer. So remember the box of 444, and you can definitely help get more relaxed and more into a Zen meditation moment. So, hey, I appreciate my colleague, fraternity brother, mastermind group partner here, Juneous, for his outstanding breakdown of meditation, hoping to demystify what it's all about. And he has plenty of resources that he had mentioned before. Just get a last plug for your resources that you want for Astroflow on the website.
Eric is right here on the screen. Just go to astroflow108.com.
Okay, great. Hey, I appreciate everyone's time and looking for more engagement with you in the future on nevillespeaks.com. Thank you.
Thank you.